Hello, and in today's video we're doing a brief matchday review of matchday 2 of the EFL Championship 2023-24 season for Watford. Yes, it finished at Vicarage Road, Watford 0, Plymouth Argyle 0, and I'll just quickly say what a day it was. It was a fantastic opportunity, a great day out to be able to do the game as a match report. It was brilliant. It was really great to be up there in the press box, and it was really a fantastic occasion. The game quite didn't live up to it. I mean, the last few years has been incredible. Some of the stuff I've done with Watford, every single week, obviously having stuff in the programme. This year it's called The Hoedt Revisited, where I interview former players and see what their different answers are for questions they asked previously in the 98-99 season. So it's just an incredible feeling to be up there for any football team, but certainly the team you support. It's an amazing feeling. But yeah, from where I was watching, the game was a dominant performance from the Hornets, and it was just a frustrating afternoon all round. Yeah, just a real shame. I think we went into this obviously off the high of that QPR game, a massive victory, some amazing goals, scoring after 33 seconds from Tom Dele-Bashiru. A great goal for him, especially, because he wasn't really getting minutes, and even when he was in previous seasons, he was often getting those injuries. But yeah, it was a fantastic performance. We couldn't have done much more to start the season in a fantastic style. This one, it just showed you can have off days, because ultimately Plymouth, we knew coming into this, we were a good side. They were third in the table, and they had beaten Huddersfield really impressively. Huddersfield were defensively a little bit all over the place, but some of the quality of those goals, the likes of Malibumba, or Ballymunba, I think it's Ballymunba, sorry. He scored a wonder goal against Huddersfield, just dribbled through that whole defence. Plymouth did look good today, I've got to say. They played some good football at times in this game. But ultimately, Watford were the dominant side pretty much from at least definitely the second half onwards. It was just constant pressure. And the game started off, obviously, Plymouth, fair play to them. Their fans came in their numbers, so you got to just give creds for that. They had a good support. Ultimately, they didn't have too many in the way of chances in the first half. Watford had quite a few early on, Ken Sema getting to the byline. And also, Matheus Martins as well looks actually really impressive in the game today. Keep saying today, but on Saturday. I think he was Watford's best player of the match, Matheus Martins. He just had everything going. He was really creating everything. But also Semo as well. We know he's always great getting to the byline and getting those crosses in. And one of the chances that fell to Vakumbayo early on with that really impressive strong volley, and you think that's an absolute wonder goal. He scored a couple already, 2 and 2. He's in great form, and it just went past the post. And it just was one of those days, unfortunately, for Vakumbayo. Had him in my Gaffer Championship Fantasy Football team as my captain, and basically cursed him because of that, because it just was one of those days where as much as he'd show the movement, he'd get into good positions, receive the passes, every time he shot, it just wasn't coming off. He had that big chance in the second half that Watford fans will look back on with a lot of regret, because it's a fantastic piece of play, a fantastic touch to pluck it from the sky. I think it's Imran Louza, and then a ball into the perfect pathway of Vakumbayo. I think it's from Espria, and you just think, yeah, you've got to score this. One with the goalkeeper, but it's one of those ones where he actually has too much time on it to think about it, so he just overthinks it, and unfortunately drags it, fairly comfortably wide, and it was just a really disappointing chance. But that wasn't the only chance that Watford spurned, and ultimately, it wasn't just a lack of a clinical edge from a number 9 in that game. It was just a collective lack of quality in the final third from the Hornets. I mean, as I say, really impressive against QPR. We knew Plymouth were going to go there and have a game plan. And, Steven Schumacher is a fantastic manager. There's no doubt behind that. And they had some really, threatening players. Especially, I thought Morgan Whittaker looked good at times, had a shot that was deflected wide. And also Ryan Hardy was a constant threat in the first half at least. Not so much in the second half, but, at times going up against Wesley Hoedt, who, to be honest, I thought had a fantastic performance. So him, Wesley Hoedt, and Matheus Martins, I think the two standouts for Watford on Saturday. But yeah, obviously it was a frustrating afternoon really for the Hornets, because it felt like we created chances, we played some fantastic football, and that is a really encouraging thing from the difference from last season. Under Valérien Ismaël, we are playing a really attractive brand of football. The way we're set up, 21 shots does really tell the picture of the match. There was a lot of dominance from the game. and set up in that 4-3-3. I mean, we did obviously go with that in the game against QPR, but we kind of had Steve Router playing that defensive midfield, and that was the case again this time. And I think it actually is quite interesting because it does give us options when one of our fullbacks like Ryan Andrews, who I thought was also superb against Plymouth, can push forward. It leaves a bit of space for some attacking threat from Andrews, but then also Sierrata can go back and help out Porteous and Hoedt if need be. Porteous again was an absolute rock at the back as per usual, and Bachmann was unfortunate in this game. We are playing this kind of really attractive football, but it comes at a cost because we're playing out from the back a lot. And it's just a very sad fact, but Bachmann is just not good enough with his feet, and he made a few big errors that we should have got punished really on, where he lost possession of the ball clumsily, and could have easily been moments where Plymouth scored from there, lobbed the goalkeeper or something like that. It was really, really hearts in mouth moments. But talking of lobbed the goalkeeper, there was a chance for Asprilla, who did come on for Matheus Martins, which as I said, Martins played really well, but it also looked like when Asprilla came on, he had a point to prove because he hasn't played a lot of minutes recently. Rumours of maybe, him wanting to leave the club, but I think they're maybe not going to come to anything. But when he did come on, boy, did Asprilla change that game. He was so classy. Some of the balls he was slipping through were just, defence splitting. So, yeah, really great from Asprilla. But one of the chances he did have was, the goalkeeper for Plymouth, Connor Hazard, off his line, and he was really, really cheeky, but he went for the audacious lob, and it was really close actually to catching him out, Connor Hazard, but it did just go over the bar, and a lot of Watford fans thought it had taken a touch off the goalie, but as you'd see on the replay, it was just over without him touching it. So yeah, look, really good performance from the Hornets. I thought Morris again was decent. I mean, he's not a spectacular player, but he just does a 6 out of 10 every week and doesn't very, very little wrong, and often doesn't do a lot right, but ultimately he's a solid player, and you can't fault that too much. Loser, I thought, had a decent game, pulling the strings as he usually does, and secondly in the second half he did kind of get up a gear and really improve that midfield, and it was a shame when he had to come off, but you could just tell he was absolutely knackered because of all the hard yards he put in. We've talked about Deli Bashiru. I mean, he was decent, but not quite as good as against QPR, obviously. And Sema was working hard all day long. I mean, it was just one of those games where you put balls into the box and a teasing chance, and it was just every cross, it seemed like, was just a bit too far forward for the attacker, a bit too much on the cross. Morris did have a good game, but he sent in one of those awful crosses, so it can be a bit hit and miss with those. But I think Sema tried hard, he did what he could. And then when it comes to Matheus Martins, I think he certainly is bedding into this Watford side now. He's starting to really look good. So yeah, it's a bit of a frustrating afternoon, ultimately. Chakvedadze came on again and looked really exciting again. It'd be nice to see him start soon. Also, we saw Livermore come on to try and consolidate the midfield. Not a lot of time to really make an impact, but I guess he kind of is a tough tackler, and that's his role in the team. Ismail Kone as well came on after he was obviously preferred to Tom Deli Bashiru in the first game. He came on. He had quite a bit about him. I thought he looked quite free on the ball, licensed to go forward and dictate the midfield. So that was decent from him. And as I mentioned, Asprilla was brilliant. Edu Kayembe as well coming on for Loser. Look, at the end of the day, didn't have a lot of time to affect things. But what do you think about Reece Healey? I mean, look, as I mentioned, we just weren't great as an attacking team in that game. It wasn't necessarily all on Bio, although that chance was a gilt-edged opportunity. But would Reece Healey have finished that? Well, I don't know. It's a tricky one with Healey because he's new. He's going to have to get edged in slowly. He's going to probably be a bit, intimidated by the new league, and we can't rush him in too quick. It's just, I feel like he does need to get some minutes for us to, really work out how good he is at finishing. He was decent in his time at Toulouse, but it's a different kettle of fish in the Championship. He had a spell, I think, at Cardiff a few years back, but, that was ages ago. So where is he now in terms of his game? We'll have to see if he gets some minutes in the future. But it's great to know we've got strength and depth coming in. Hopefully Tom Ince can improve our clinical edge, and also Jamal Lewis at left back. I mean, look, Morris is good, but I much prefer Jamal Lewis when he's fit, of course. So yeah, I've got to say, impressive performance. I like the style of football. Unfortunate result, and unfortunate, the times that we got away with Daniel Bachmann just playing out, and it really could have cost us. But at the end of the day, it's another point. It's 4 points from 2. It should have really been 6 with the amount of chances we had. But 2 clean sheets from 2. You've got to take a lot of positives from that. So, as I say, I think it's probably... I'm just going to side towards Wesley Hoedt as man of the match. I thought he was just so solid all game. But Martins is definitely a strong contender after him. So, yeah, I hope you have enjoyed my very brief match review. I just thought I'd get my thoughts out. As I say, just quickly mentioned about my my time doing the press box. It was incredible. And also, yeah, doing that game, match review. Did you agree with my match review there? Get in the comment section below. Who is your Watford man of the match, and what does that result mean for Watford going forward? Obviously, Stoke away next week. Obviously, no midweek game after we were knocked out against Stevenage in the Carabao Cup. So, look, we're going with the same team in constant. Maybe we change it up, give some players a rest, but hopefully the midweek break will help us be a bit more sharp in front of goal. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.